Okay, next one. World of Warcraft versus and Final Fantasy 14 story versus gameplay. These are shorter though.
I mean, actually, there's a lot here. Like in the supers, you know, equip basic sword, say recommend playing a Dark Knight as well. It's got a story that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Which again, knowing that like I can just swap over to that in my on my character, that's really cool. Aogard saying in WoW, I feel like the game actively is wasting my time with systems. In FF, I'm constantly making progress and things. Nothing gets tossed away.
See, this is the thing. It's like, in at least up until this point, in Final Fantasy 14, there are really no MacGuffins. Like these expansion systems that Blizzard keeps pumping out, that basically next expansion comes out and completely takes a dump on it. Like, you know, oh my God, I'm going to get this Legion artifact weapon. I'm going to level it up and pump all of these amazing things into it. Going to get all of these cool abilities. Oh man, I can't wait to see what they do next expansion. And Blizzard just grabs the weapon and they're like, yeah, so this expansion, we're putting this weapon in the trash. And it's like, but I spent literally all the time in the expansion working towards this one thing. And they're like, yeah, it's cool. We're going to put it in the trash now. And it's like, why? In the trash it goes. And now here's a necklace. And you just look at Blizzard and you're like, a necklace? Like, yeah. But listen, you're gonna put the blood of Azeroth inside this necklace. And then it's going to power other armor pieces. And it's like, okay. So first we collected a weapon, then you made us throw it away. Now we're going to collect armor pieces? Okay, I'll collect armor pieces. So you spend an expansion collecting all kinds of armor pieces with special powers that improve your abilities and stuff. And you're like, okay, this time I have this really cool full set of armor. Amazing. And it's like, Shadowlands comes out in Blizzard. Okay, so now we're going to grab that armor. And the player's like, no, don't take it away. And it was like, no, let go. And they just take the armor away from you again. They're like, into the trash. They're looking into your eyes like this. And they're like, into the trash it goes. And they throw your armor in the trash. In the trash. And you're looking at it like a goddamn psychopath. You're like, I spent a whole expansion working on this armor. Why would you do this? And they're like, in the trash it goes. Oh, and also, I'll take that necklace too. They're like, the blood of Azeroth is in my necklace. Yeah, I'll be taking that too. Into the trash it goes. And you're like, why? And they're like, but don't worry. We're going to give you these great conduits. And you know, what happened in Shadowlands, this player's like, you're just going to take this away next expansion? Why the fuck do I care about any of this? It's like everybody knows that the systems you're engaging with in World of Warcraft, they're taking them away. They're going to go away. It's literally going to go away. And it's like, I feel like in 14, the weapons, the relic weapons that you grind for, they end up being more of a cosmetic thing than necessarily a power thing. So it doesn't bother me as much about the relic weapon stuff. Like when I started grinding my relic in 14, like I was well aware this is a cosmetic thing for me. This is a cosmetic thing that I want to have. I'm going to work towards it because I want to have it. Because if I just wanted power, I could just like, you see, they provide me with an alternate thing. It's like, hey, you want to engage with this system that we're putting in here? Completely optional. Like imagine if Azeroth power was completely optional. Artifact weapon was completely optional. That's kind of like, I feel the way that they do it in 14. The stuff is just optional. It's like, if you don't want to engage with this grind, you don't have to. You can go do Savage and you can get a weapon from Savage. You can go do normal. You can get a weapon from normal. You can go do PvP. You can get a weapon from PvP. You can get weapons and armor. You can craft stuff. You can craft the weapon if you want to. And you can go raid with it. It's viable. So I don't think it's as big of a problem. But the problem is that World of Warcraft just come up with these different convoluted systems that are basically designed to keep you playing. That's what those systems are designed to do, like grinding artifact power for your artifact weapon. Like you're just doing that so that Blizzard has a way to keep you playing. and basically there's no end. Like, think of it like this. There's no end, at least I don't think there was, to the amount of artifact power that you could get, just like there was no end to the amount of like Azerite blood, I don't remember the exact name of it, that you can pump into the heart of Azeroth. You can keep pumping blood into it forever, and you can keep like pumping it slowly. Whereas with 14, they give you achievable goals. It's an achievable goal. Like, I finished my relic weapon yesterday. I could go do more because a lot of players in 14, they'll grind like a bunch of different relic weapons. I don't do that. I just want the stuff from my paladin, right? So I finished it. Like, it's done. If I don't want to grind anymore, I don't have to. I can stop. And it's good. It feels good to be able to like, no, I finished it. I'm done with it. Like, I can still grind. I can still upgrade my armor. I can still upgrade a bunch of stuff if I want to. But my objective to fully grind out one relic in 14 was an achievable objective as someone that is also a father of 2 children and has been producing God knows how many Monster Hunter videos, pretty much doing full-time content creation. And I was still able to, on the side, grind out my relic weapon in a reasonable amount of time. And you will be able to use it in the next expansion? I would guess that's a big no. Like I said, the thing is, from the beginning that I started grinding the relic, I always knew that it's going to be a cosmetic thing. I would argue that when Legion players started grinding their artifacts, I don't think they were aware of that. Not to mention, Silver Nitro, that the relic weapons actually connect. They actually connect. So like if you do the full grind for relic weapon in Realm Reborn, then you have less steps to do when you get to Heavensward. Then if you do the Heavensward one, you have less steps to do when you get the Stormblade. So all of that grind is not wasted. It shortens some of the steps that you do on the next one. And I will still be able to use my weapon for quite a while, as Dylan J pointed out. Probably, I would imagine I'll be able to use it until like level 85 or something like that. Only happened for Realm Reborn into Heavensward? Really? Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it did for the other ones as well, because I saw that the Realm Reborn one goes into Heavensward. You could skip this first Heavensward step. I wish they would have linked all of them together. Okay, that was my bad. I'm sorry. But yes, you still will. I will still be able to use it for at least a good 5 levels or so, because that's usually how much you get to use, like, close to top end gear from previous expansions. Like, I seem to remember every time that I would level up a character with like top level 70 gear, I'd be wearing that 70 gear until 75. But even though, like, I knew from the beginning this is going to be a transmog thing, and it is going to be something with an achievable end, where I get to a point where it's like, this is where I've done my weapon. And I've done it apparently like a bunch of months before the expansion comes out. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit lost here.
I think that's a humongous thing for how people feel in WoW right now, where, yeah sometimes the systems can feel like content elongation systems. Mm-hmm. From a lot of what I understand in FF, it is just do the content, then you're done, and you can leave if you want. Yeah. Hopefully come back in the next patch, which I'm certainly more okay with that than, yes, sometimes in WoW. I mean, look, people could maybe think back to the time last week where I almost exploded on stream because of the randomness on the conduit upgrade system and how disrespectful that is of players' time. Maybe seems like FF doesn't do that sort of thing.
Nope.
It is definitely disrespectful of your time in some ways.
Okay, right.
But primarily it is just going, it's your time, do what you want. We will let you ruin your life if you really feel like it.
But like, is that through game design that feels player?
I'd like to hear more detail about that. What is it that Matt feels is disrespectful of players' times? Because, like, for instance, to give you guys an idea, the way that it works for you to get loot in raids, I actually think is really good. Because you know how in World of Warcraft, it's like you do the raid, your piece didn't drop, too bad. Like, that's it. Right, in World of Warcraft, you do your weekly raid, your piece of gear didn't drop, fuck you. Too bad. Come back next week. In Final Fantasy XIV, You do the raid, and the loot drops. And the way that the loot drops is they drop tokens, like World of Warcraft used to do back in the day. I think in TBC, interestingly enough, it would drop like tier tokens. So they drop tokens, and you need like I think it's 4 tokens for a chest, 2 tokens for boots, something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, right? But they drop the token, and you're like, okay, so from this raid, I want the token for chest. So you roll need on the token for chest. And you either wait or you pass on the other pieces because you just want that token for chest. You roll need on it. You didn't get it. That's okay. Get out of the raid, queue again, do the raid again, and see if you can get it again. You can, if you aim for a specific piece of gear from within a raid, you can get that piece of gear. You don't need to wait for next week. You just roll on it, and if you don't get it, exit the raid, don't take any loot, go back into the raid, and roll on the item again until you can get it. So that is one of the things that I think is way better. Way better. And I've made mistakes because sometimes I like greed on things because I have that World of Warcraft mentality. The problem is if you greed on things and you get loot, then the raid like, hey, you got loot from here, bro. You already got your weekly loot. Come back next week, right? But if you don't greed, if you just need the piece that you want or the pieces that you want, you can keep doing the raid until you get the thing that you want out of the raid, and then you can move on. So that, in my opinion, is a fantastic way of doing it. A much better way of doing it. So I can use this info for the Puppets Bunker. Actually, on Puppets Bunker, I'm pretty sure that you can just need everything, because they only do that system for current raids. So like whenever a raid tier is current, then you need on the thing, you can only get 1 piece of loot from that raid per week. The moment that raid is no longer current, you can just run the raid and need on everything, and whatever, what you get, what you don't, you don't. That's what I was doing when I was doing my when I was doing my relic. Remember, I was needing on everything because I think that I'm missing a couple of pieces from that first raid tier that I want to grab. But yeah, for Puppets Bunker, I'm pretty sure you can just need on everything. It's not a big deal, Haiku, because, people are going to get it eventually. Although I guess it is a little bit rude, but sorry. I try to be a good community member, but I'm not perfect. It's only for current raid. People don't care much. Yeah, exactly. For current raid, it's the thing that really matters. Because the thing is, when a raid stops being current, it is usually accepted that most players have grinded everything they possibly want. So you can just need on everything if you want to. But then again, if you already have the items, it's like, why would you need on them? It's like, whatever. The thing is, I was needing on tokens because I actually do want to craft some stuff out of them.
Adversarial, like it is with WoW, like with a corruption vendor, or, random rotation. Well, just the rotation turned out not being random.
No examples that I can think of.
Okay.
It's just a case of there's rewards at the end of extremely long sticks.
Yeah.
And maybe the content's not always new and exciting as you do those.
Gotcha.
Maybe you are doing old shit, or you're doing something that's...
He has to be talking about relic grind. He has to be talking about relic grind. Because that's the only thing I can think of. Or maybe mount grinding? But still. Yeah, the only thing I can think of that he is talking about is relics. Because, but that's the thing, right? I was grinding for the Realm Reborn relic as well. And then I got to the books, and I was like, fuck that shit. I stopped grinding my relic real fast. I did all the fates. I got to the books part, and I was like, you crazy. No thanks. That's completely up to the players, right? If they think that it's worth their time, they should go and do it. If they don't do it.
Maybe not super engaging. You're grinding something.
Yeah.
I still haven't went to get my relic weapon.
There it is. The relic weapons.
Quite a bit of work.
Yep.
Nino says to try to lean this into WoW. I think both games offer something different. Some people don't want to sit through hours of story. Yeah. I think if you are a MDI competitor or competitive Mythic Raider, unless you also want to play a JRPG at the same time, it seems like FF is just not for you. From what I understand of this game, I could not fathom a dedicated Mythic Plus player playing FF in the way that they play WoW.
Yeah,
at all.
Because you can't.
there's room for playing a lot of end-game content in one sitting,
Yes.
but there's not the same kind of feeling overall.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
texture of the content, sort of.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine that ever happening, and I wouldn't recommend it because I feel like there would be too many people who are like almost against the story. Not FF specifically, but the amount of people who go, I want to play World of Warcraft because I want to get into the end game content.
Yeah, they want to play it like it's Destiny, maybe.
Yeah, and that kind of, you could do it, but I would never recommend it to anyone because like it's, I haven't had a food analogy yet. It's like offering someone incredible food, like here is the tastiest bread you've ever had in your life, and it comes with, you know, you also like the, say, ham sandwich. You really, really love ham. Here's the best bread of your life with some really good ham in it. And they're like, bread kills me. And you're like, well, all right then. It's just that case of, there's no point. They'll just take the bread off, throw it away.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's the best bread ever made. You can't.
Yeah.
That will happen to people, I think. And fair.
Different games. That's the strength of both. I think that they're different.
Yep.
It's like I do have one thing to say, and that is I don't think that MMOs should just be about the end game. I think there needs to be something more there. I think, yeah, sure, end game is cool and all, but I don't think that everything should be loaded into the end game. It's like, oh, the real game only begins when you get to the end. And you know, I think that 14 has better content until you get to the end. And World of Warcraft just kind of like lets you skip through most of that content. And, you know, that's just going to be one of those things that a lot of the players that are going to be coming in from World of Warcraft that are expecting to play Final Fantasy XIV like World of Warcraft, they're going to be very disappointed. Because that's what I did. I did that in 2013 when Realm Reborn launched. I came into Final Fantasy XIV and I tried playing it like I would play World of Warcraft, and I hated it. Because how do you play World of Warcraft when you're leveling up? Like, to just really think about it. How do you usually play it? You go into a quest hub, you grab all of the quests. Like, you don't even read them. You just grab all of them. You grab all of those quests, and then you look at your minimap for like the quest markers of where you have to go kill things. You go out, you kill all the things, you pick up all the poop that you have to, you collect the 10 bare asses and all of that stuff. You pick up the bananas, whatever else you need to complete all the quests. Then you go back to the hub and you turn everything in, and then you see your character go like, level up, level up, level up. And then you move to the next quest hub and you do the same thing. Well, let me tell you right now, if you tried doing that in Final Fantasy XIV, you're going to have a bad time. It's just not that game at all. It is not that game at all, and you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out super fast. So, yeah. There's a lot of lore and leveling quests, but it's boring in the way it's implemented. Yep. I think he's talking about WoW. Yeah, I figured it would be. So, you know, that's the thing. I think that Final Fantasy does a better job of providing you with interesting things to do until you get to the end game, whereas World of Warcraft just kind of like puts stuff there, and you can tell that they haven't really put too much effort in that content until you get to end game. And that was especially noticeable with Shadowlands. They just don't care. They really don't care. Like, I'm sorry. I know that some people disagree because I've had a lot of people say that, hey man, Shadowlands is like the best that World of Warcraft has been in decades. And I'm just like, if this is the best that Blizzard can do, you're not even on the level of Realm Reborn, which is sad because Realm Reborn is from 2013. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Sean Grant saying that he loves how balanced all the classes and jobs are. That's interesting. I have no idea about balance or endgame in this game.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I haven't seen too much about it. No one's cried at me for playing a bard yet. even though they don't seem optimal. But
Then Chris Ward has said Yoshi P once told a player that claimed to be burnt out to take a break and play other games to find that spark again. Blizzard would never. Generally, I think Blizzard would never. Lore did say that in the context of streamers getting burnt out only playing WoW.
Yeah.
So fair enough to Lore in that one. But, to a degree, yeah, I feel like Blizzard are...
Dude, Blizzard would never tell you to take a break from World of Warcraft. Maybe the Blizzard of old. The Blizzard of now, never. They tell you the second. Imagine if you would actually go up to Blizzard with the same question the guy asked Yoshi P, like where he was like, "Hey, how do you keep motivated to keep playing the game? Like I've done all the content this patch, and I kind of feel like I'm done. I don't know what to do." And Yoshi P just told him, Yoshi P, who is by the way the game director for 14, just told him you should take a break. Like if you've done everything and you don't feel like playing, don't play. Go play something else. And when you feel like there's enough content to come back, then come back and play more. We'll be happy to have you. Like, that's the thing. And it's like, imagine going up to like a Blizzard dev and go, "Hey man, I'm so burned out on WoW. I don't know how to keep motivated." They tell like, "You should level an alt." And I was like, "I don't really feel like it." And it's like, "Hey, tell you what, I'm about to, we're gonna give you this mount if you resub for 6 months." And he's like, "Well, I don't know if I want to sub." And they're like, "Look at this pretty mount. Look at it. It's a boat. Look at this mount. It's a flying boat, dude. It's amazing. You can't get this in game, but you can get it if you subscribe for 6 months." And he's like, "What am I going to do for those 6 months?" Like, "I don't fucking care. Look at this boat."
They're very official in their stances, and I feel like they struggle to sort of engage with the player base sometimes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh man, yeah. Jared Randall says there is something to be said for variety, though. In FF14, every class and every item is face value. There's almost zero variety. That's my problem.
Definitely a lack of variety.
I didn't hear that one.
Definitely a lack of variety.
Every class and every item is face value. Jared Randall says there is something to be said for variety, though. In FF14, every class and every item is face value. There's almost zero variety. That's my problem.
Definitely a lack of variety in a couple of ways.
Gearing,
where
I guess
it is very much, here you go, here's your job, I hope you like it. It's never get this item and your rotation changes, or here's an item that does anything really interesting. It is always just, here's an item that gives you 237 dexterity, that makes your numbers bigger.
Yep.
It looks really cool, maybe. Or maybe it looks terrible and you want to use something cool and glamour it over it. But I will agree, it is massively face value.
Actually, in regards to this super chat that just came up, I know you're playing WoW music in the background. One day you should play some soundtracks from Final Fantasy XIV so people can hear. You can only play Final Fantasy tracks if you are talking about Final Fantasy. So I guess, yeah, you actually could, because he is bringing context to Final Fantasy, but you actually can't play Final Fantasy tracks in the background if you're doing something else. If you're a streamer and you're monetizing content, stuff like that, you actually can't do that because they don't allow that. They played Final Fantasy XIV in the latest podcast.
Maybe. Or maybe it looks terrible and you want to use something cool and glamour it over it. But I will agree, it is massively face value. There's no like custom, like the fact that there's no idea of anything like a talent or anything like that is literally, here you go, enjoy.
Yeah.
It's
kind of wild, actually. Yeah.
It is almost like an extremely good buffet where they're like, here's lots of delicious things, go for it, and you're like, can I have anything different? No, no. This is the set menus, not like here's everything in linear order, but here's the set menus. You're like, okay.
I guess it's ballsy. It's the sort of thing. There's obvious downsides, but I guess they're able to reap the upsides of making a decision like that.
Yep.
We've got Izal Fulm saying, "I know you're playing WoW music in the background. One day you should play something from FF14 so people can hear." From what I've heard of the Britannia soundtrack, it's lovely. Yeah. So I'm sure that would work, and it'll be a fun little thing to do whenever we get into an FF segment.
I desperately wanted to enter the stream with Neath Dark Waters, but we didn't have time today.
Oh man. Yeah. JW says 14 doesn't have required side content like corruptions, HOA, soulbinds. Side stuff is side stuff and mostly for cosmetic rewards and not player power. Seems good to me.
Yep.
Because it's like, yeah, corruptions, Heart of Azeroth, and soulbinds. That's like not content that I've done because I've enjoyed it or because I like wanted to do it. But like, if soulbinds had nothing to do with my character, like per se, in terms of like core endgame stuff, but it was like I get to go on a whole bunch of personal quest lines with these 3 characters throughout this entire expansion, and I get some cool, you know, rewards. I'd be so much more. Yeah, that's the version of soulbinds that I'm excited about because it's about like the world and the fantasy. And
He has to do. I mean, I still have to do it. The man, what's the name of the friggin' quest? The Manderville quests. Frack, I forget the name of the character. Help me! Help me! I need help. Hildebrand. Thank you. 0 hour. Hildebrand. Yeah, I still have to do those. I'm very curious to see what his reaction is going to be to Hildebrand. Sinan 104, Rurikhan, big fan of videos. Used to play Final Fantasy 14 4 years ago, and I stopped playing because of the subscription. Yeah, I can imagine. It gets... I think the Final Fantasy 14 is one of those games that you kind of play it in... I was going to say patches, but I don't mean patches, like in segments. So like, okay, new expansion comes out, I'm going to play for a couple of months. And it's like, okay, I'm caught up on all the content, going to take a break. Then, oh, new patch came out. Maybe I'll wait for the next patch. 2 patches come out. Okay, I'll play it for a bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to be playing every patch, but you know, yeah, you play it in bursts. That's what I meant to say. But that I think that's a good thing. I think that is them respecting your time. That is them just being like, hey, look, here's the content. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And at this point, if you want to play through the content with a different class, you can do that. If you want to grind things at the end of the content, you can do that. But you don't have to. A lot of people, I feel like they see the grinding of artifact power as, you know, oh, at least I have something to do. Like, really? Okay. Sure thing.
and all of that stuff. And I say that thinking that Raiders would also prefer that and Mythic Plusers because they don't seem to like those systems as player power systems. So like, it's like, I agree that the fantasy is cool.
Same.
But maybe just not the way that it's being particularly implemented. So yeah, man, wow, lots of FF stuff.